Who dictates the value of your life? Is it the people around you? Is it the society that constantly watches, judges, and categorizes you based on your output and appearance? Or is it something deeper, something ancient and immutable within you? In a world where our every action can be scrutinized, recorded and commented on in real time, it might feel like our self-worth is in everyone's hands but our own. We have become a civilization of performers, perpetually looking off stage to see if the audience is clapping. But today I am sharing something revolutionary with you, a truth drawn from the bedrock of Stoic philosophy. Your true value comes from within. It does not come from the applause or the critiques of the crowd. Today we are diving deep into how embracing Stoic principles can transform your understanding of self-worth. We are exploring how to navigate the deafening noise of societal expectations and guide you toward a more authentic, resilient life. We're not just scratching the surface here, we're going deep, challenging you to look inside rather than around you for validation. I warn you, some of the ideas we'll explore might be radical, especially if you've spent your life anchored in the pursuit of external approval. But if you're ready to challenge the conventional, to delve into the profound teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, then you're in the right place. Stay with us until the end to uncover why ancient wisdom is more relevant today than ever, and why the most profound truths about our lives require us to confront and question everything we thought we knew. Part 1. The Trap of External Validation, the Echo Chamber. Let's unpack something we all encounter, but rarely pause to deeply understand. The trap of external validation. It's a snare laid out by our modern culture, intricately woven into our everyday interactions. We live in a world where the number of likes, comments, or followers can seem to dictate our happiness and self-esteem. The illusion of social worth. Is our worth truly just a collection of external affirmations? Stoicism, a philosophy dating back to ancient Greece and Rome, challenges this notion robustly. The Stoics teach us that the only true good lies in our own virtues, our wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. They argue that external factors, including other people's opinions, are beyond our control and, critically, are indifferent to our true happiness. Imagine living in a state where your inner peace isn't shaken by a critical comment online or a disapproving glance in a public space. Stoicism isn't just about endurance, it's about recognizing what truly deserves your energy. Think about the immediate urge to check for reactions after you post something. Each notification acts like a mini reward, a hit of dopamine that momentarily boosts your ego. But it's fleeting, isn't it? Soon you're checking again, hungry for more. This cycle is addictive, pulling us further into seeking external validation and further away from self-reliance. The foundation of sand. What's worse is that this hunger for external validation doesn't stay online. It seeps into our real lives. We start molding our behaviors, our appearances, even our life choices to fit into what we think will earn us applause. But here is a Stoic truth. When you base your happiness on the opinions of others, you give away your power. You become dependent on a foundation as unstable as the ever-changing opinions of a fickle crowd. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote, focusing on self-validation. It encourages us to turn inward. For the Stoics, the goal is to cultivate an inner citadel, fortress of the mind impervious to external shocks. This isn't about dismissing others, but about changing the weight their views carry. It's about finding freedom in the understanding that you can exist completely and joyously with the approval that comes from within, grounded in your own values. Part 2. The Inner Citadel, Building Self-Worth from Within. Stepping into the realm of Stoicism, we find a refreshing approach to self-worth that deviates radically from today's norm. Stoic philosophy presents a compelling viewpoint. Self-worth should emanate from within, rather than being a reflection of external mirrors. The bedrock of virtue. Stoicism teaches us that true value isn't something you can gain or lose through the opinions of others. It's something inherently yours, rooted deeply in your virtues and the choices you make in alignment with those virtues. In practical terms, this means your worth is independent of how many people like your status or applaud your achievements. These external factors are not bad, but they are not the bedrock of your value. The core of self-worth lies in living according to reason and in harmony with your own nature. It's about asking yourself, am I making decisions that I can stand by? Am I living truthfully and ethically? This internal dialogue fosters a kind of self-respect that is unshakable, because it doesn't rely on external circumstances. It is self-generated and self-sustained. The practice of daily reflection. Consider the Stoic practice of daily reflection. This isn't just self-improvement. It's a method of reinforcing your internal value system. Every night, reflect on your day. Don't berate yourself for mistakes or tally up successes for the sake of pride. Instead, honestly evaluate your actions against your values. This practice solidifies the understanding that your worth is defined by your ability to live virtuously, not by the shifting sands of public opinion. When you embrace this mindset, feedback from others is no longer a measure of your worth. Instead, it becomes information, data you can use to improve your alignment with your principles. You gain the freedom to pursue a life that truly reflects who you are, grounded in the sound principles of reason. Part 3. Inner courage, the bravery of authenticity. Diving into the concept of inner courage, we uncover an empowering aspect of Stoicism. Courage, in the Stoic sense, is not just about heroic acts or facing physical danger. It's about the everyday bravery required to live authentically and adhere to your principles despite massive external pressures. The fortitude of principle. Inner courage is foundational. It's about having the fortitude to confront your own flaws and fears. It asks you to look inward and question not just what you do, but why you do it. Are your actions driven by a genuine belief in their rightness, or are they influenced by a desire for a hit of approval or a fear of being cancelled by the crowd? Think of a scenario where you stand up for an unpopular but just cause. The courage here isn't just in the public act, but in overcoming the internal battle against your own doubts and the biological urge to conform. Stoic courage means maintaining your course even when the path is rocky, trusting that your internal compass is set on virtue. Confronting vulnerability. Stoicism teaches us that true courage involves facing internal vulnerabilities. It's about being willing to work through emotions like fear and anxiety, viewing them as natural human experiences rather than weaknesses. This acceptance doesn't mean being led by these emotions, but rather observing them with a rational mind. This form of courage is deeply liberating. It frees you from the tyranny of trying to control what is outside your power, like what people say behind your back. Instead, it steers you toward what you can control: your beliefs, your decisions, and your character. Stoic courage also involves the readiness to revise your beliefs when presented with better reasoning. This adaptability is a form of bravery because it requires letting go of the ego. Part 4. The strength of vulnerability. Embracing vulnerability might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Stoicism, but it is a robust aspect of the philosophy. Vulnerability is often seen as a sign of weakness, but Stoicism invites us to rethink this entirely. It teaches us that vulnerability is not just inevitable, it is a significant strength when approached with wisdom, acceptance, and rationality. Stoicism acknowledges that we are subject to emotions, mistakes, and misfortunes. We are human. Stoic strength lies not in denying these traits, but in embracing them with acceptance. Vulnerability in Stoicism is about recognizing our fears and limitations and then facing them with integrity. It takes more courage to be open about your struggles than to pretend everything is fine. Opening up about doubts isn't about asking others to fix them. It's about confronting them openly so you can work through them constructively. This engagement builds true resilience, the kind based on understanding rather than mere denial. Deeper connections. Moreover, embracing vulnerability fosters deeper connections. When you're honest about your weaknesses, you create space for others to be the same. This leads to more meaningful relationships. Stoicism promotes not isolation, but a cosmopolis, a community of rational and supportive relationships. When you accept that emotions and other people's actions are out of your control, you are freed to focus on how you respond to them. Vulnerability then becomes a practice ground for exercising control over your reactions. Part 5. Reframing resilience, the art of the bounce back. Building resilience is often talked about as simply bouncing back, but through the Stoic lens, it gains a deeper meaning. Stoic practices don't just prepare us to recover, they reframe our entire perspective on setbacks, transforming them into powerful opportunities for self-mastery. The dichotomy of control as an anchor. Resilience is rooted in the dichotomy of control. Stoics focus intensely on differentiating between what is within our power, our thoughts and actions, and what is not, external events. This isn't passive resignation, it is an active, empowering practice. By concentrating only on what we can influence, we conserve our mental resources and remain steadfast during the storm. Consider the evening meditation. Stoics review the day, not to dwell on external failures, but to evaluate their internal responses. This habit builds resilience by ensuring that every situation, no matter how bad, is a lesson. Instead of feeling defeated, the Stoic uses the setback as a stepping stone. Perception management and premeditation. How we perceive a challenge determines our response. If we see difficulties as insurmountable, we feel overwhelmed. If we see them as expected tests of character, we approach them with dignity. Another tool is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This involves visualizing potential challenges. Far from being pessimistic, this prepares the mind. It reduces the shock of misfortune. When the worst-case scenario happens, the Stoic is ready, because they have already faced it in their mind. They remain composed and pragmatic, while others are paralyzed by shock. Part 6. Amor fati, loving the struggle. Resilience in Stoicism is also about amor fati, the love of fate. Stoics strive to not only accept but embrace whatever life throws their way. They trust that every experience, no matter how painful, has value and can contribute to their moral development. Active engagement. This acceptance is an active engagement with life. It is choosing to see growth potential in every experience. Building resilience through Stoic practices means developing a mindset that views life's challenges as integral to our development. It's about cultivating an inner strength that doesn't crumble under pressure but grows more robust with each challenge faced. This isn't about ignoring advice. It's about ensuring that the choices you make are genuinely yours. It's about not being a reflection of societal expectations. Stoics believe in developing an inner fortitude that relies less on external sources of happiness and more on inner peace. Part 7. Focusing on your own path, the great race. The Stoic practice of focusing on one's own path is deeply intertwined with the idea of self-sufficiency. This isn't about material isolation, but emotional and intellectual autonomy. Stoics believe in developing a center of gravity that is not moved by the fluctuating external circumstances. The solace of integrity. Think of Marcus Aurelius. Amidst the pressures of ruling an empire, he sought solace in his Stoic beliefs. He focused on his own path, not just to rule effectively, but to live with integrity. His reflections encourage us to ask, are we making decisions because they are right, or because we fear judgment? Focusing on your path involves embracing the idea that the obstacle is the way. Obstacles are not hindrances, they are the path itself. Every challenge is a chance to apply courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. This mindset shifts how we view the journey, not as a smooth road, but as a series of learning moments. Personal responsibility. Focusing on your path also helps in cultivating personal responsibility. It's about owning your choices. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control what happens to us, we have absolute power over how we respond. This means not blaming others or circumstances for your unhappiness. It means looking internally, understanding what you can do differently, and making rational choices that align with your deepest values. This autonomy is liberating but challenging. It demands daily reflection and constant vigilance against the allure of following the crowd. It requires the courage to take the path less traveled, if that path is the one aligned with virtue. Part 8. The practical discipline, walking the walk. So how do we apply this in a world that never stops talking? It begins with the discipline of silence. It begins with the realization that you do not need to have an opinion on everything. You do not need to react to every news story, every trend, or every slight. Curating your inner space. To focus on your life, you must curate what enters your mind. The Stoics were very careful about their mental diet. They avoided the theaters of gossip and useless speculation. In modern terms, this means being intentional with your digital consumption. If it doesn't contribute to your virtue or your necessary work, why give it your attention? The virtue of industry. Focusing on your life means focusing on your work, your proper function. As a human being, whether you are a parent, an artist, a student, or a leader, Stoicism calls you to perform that role to the best of your ability for its own sake. The reward is the excellence of the work, not the paycheck or the praise. When you focus on the quality of your effort, the results, which are out of your control, become secondary. You find a deep sense of flow and peace that no critic can take away. Part 9. Breaking the chains of comparison. One of the greatest enemies of a focused life is comparison. We look at the highlight reels of others and feel a sense of lack. But a Stoic realizes that everyone is fighting a hard battle you know nothing about. Your race, your rules. Comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's front of house is a logical fallacy. Seneca warned that we often envy the person who is higher than us, not realizing that they are struggling with a different set of weights. When you focus on your own life, you stop running a race against others and start running a race against your yesterday self. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were 24 hours ago. If you can achieve that, you are winning the only game that matters. Society will try to pull you into a status game. Stoicism pulls you into a character game. The status game is zero-sum. For you to win, someone must lose. The character game is infinite. Everyone can grow in virtue simultaneously. Part 10. Authenticity in a world of masks. Ultimately, focusing on your life is about authenticity. It's about crafting a life that truly reflects who you are and who you aspire to be. It is a life not molded by external pressures, but shaped by reasoned choices and virtuous conduct. The courage to be disliked. The Stoic knows that to be truly yourself, you must have the courage to be disliked. If you are living according to your principles, some people will inevitably disagree with you. That is okay. In fact, if everyone likes you, it might be a sign that you are diluting your values to please the crowd. Standing firm in your own path allows you to contribute more to the world. A person who is focused, grounded, and virtuous is a much greater asset to their community than someone who is scattered and constantly seeking approval. By forging a life of true fulfillment, you become a beacon for others who are also trying to find their way. Thank you for joining me today and for being an integral part of this philosophical journey. Remember, the journey to living a Stoic life is not just about enduring the tough times. It's about transforming them into profound opportunities for personal growth and wisdom. As you continue on your path, embrace every moment with courage and integrity. Let Stoicism be the compass that guides you to a life of true fulfillment, a life where your value is determined by your character, not your likes. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Check out the suggested videos on your screen to dive deeper into these timeless practices. Every day is a new chance to focus on your path. The world is noisy, but your mind can be a sanctuary of quiet, focused purpose. Until next time, keep focusing on your own path Keep looking inward and live virtuously.